Yes,
So
no,
thank
thank you for having me. I'm very excited for this conversation. And just like you mentioned, I'm all the way in New York City. So really, really happy to join this platform and to educate the audience on how we can get into technology in various different ways. So let me first start with a little bit of an introduction. So I work for a $12.7 billion global tech firm that is in 46 different countries, headquartered in the World Trade Center right here in New York City, the heart of New York, which provides managed services for all types of companies in various industries across the Fortune 500. For my particular role, I am a tech leader who transforms companies that are in the retail sector. So every company is on a different journey in their IT infrastructure. Some companies are very advanced, like the Amazons of the world, and then some companies are really just starting out and only have a website where they are selling to the consumer. So where my company helps, we help innovate companies and transform companies to be more in control, more able to listen to their customers and to adapt to them, which is very important, especially in retail and COVID, of course, and then make companies faster, better, more efficient with their processes and providing just a cost savings to benefit their bottom line. So how I got into IT, I had a career in fashion and I went for my bachelor's in fashion merchandising. I was a fashion buyer that traveled all across the United States. And something that I want the audience, before I unpack my story, is to know that it's a myth. You do not need a degree in IT to get a career in technology. You should know that more than 25% of IT professionals don't have college degrees. Your skills from your current career are most likely transferable into the career that you're wanting to have in technology. And certifications, which the last speaker mentioned, I caught the tail end of his conversation, but certifications, soft skills, and just experience will really impress the hiring managers. So when it comes to my story, so I was a fashion buyer. I was traveling all across the United States. And something really terrible actually happened to me. I came back from a business trip in technology, and my boss actually said, you know, I'm bankrupt and I'm letting everyone go today. I felt just so stressed out and I couldn't believe I just moved into the city. I had this job for about 6 months and then I lost my job and I didn't have a job for about 2 months. And something that I'm going to unpack a little bit later in my conversation is you really have to have mentors in your life and you have to reach out to individuals. So I was very blessed in having a mentor. He's been in the industry for about 20 years in technology. And I reached out to him and I said, you know, his name is Pete. I love him to death. He's such an amazing person in my life and still a mentor today, having various mentors in my life, but he's a significant one because he started my career in technology. So I reached out to Pete. I said, Pete, you know, I don't have a job. I'm in fashion. I'm in the greatest fashion capital in the world, but I still can't get a job. And he said, you know, Lena, you should really move away from fashion and you should really concentrate on something that is going to provide you longevity and where the environment of today's world is going, and that's technology. So he asked me, he said, do you have any skills in technology? And I said, well, I played a lot of video games when I was younger. So there's that. And then my second point is that I actually developed my university's website. I had a little IT role in the study abroad program where I did HTML, I did website, I did coding. So I said to him, you know, I didn't go to school for technology, but I am self-taught and you can learn everything over the internet. So he said, you know what, Lena, you're diligent. I see that you want to learn new things. So I'm going to connect you to a company. So he connected me to a company on Wall Street. They're also a managed service company, kind of like the one that I work today, but a much smaller scale. And I went in and on my interview, he told me, he says, you have no degrees in technology, you know, but you have the soft skills. You have the soft skills. I see that you have a drive to learn. And I'm going to put you through some certification courses. Would you be willing to get certifications? I said, yes, I would 100% be willing to get certifications. So now that's how I got my foot in the door. When I got hired, I got 13 actually now, 13 different certifications. And that helped me learn more across my career. And it helped me get my feet wet into something that I had no idea that I even would end up loving. And now fast forward, now 12 years later, now I'm in the role that I am today. So it's just getting that foot in the door in the first place. So unpacking my story. So if you search for job listings in your areas in IT, like web development, cybersecurity, software development, mobile app development, even help desk support on top jobs on sites like Indeed, Monster, you're going to notice a pattern in the listings qualification sections, and that's high school diploma or GED required. So a large portion of jobs in IT, they don't require a 4-year degree or even a 2-year degree. So many IT job listings prove this. So by not having a degree, it doesn't held you back from pursuing a career in technology. And you should know that most tech positions simply require proof that you can just do the job. And that's what I proved on my interview to my boss. I said, my ex-boss, his name is Mitch. I still keep in touch with him today, a great mentor of mine. And I said to Mitch, I can do this job if you just give me a chance. And he did give me the chance. Now, to unpack the skill set, so transferable skills. I didn't have a career before I got into technology. I was in fashion, but I had transferable skills, and I definitely was not the math whiz. I wasn't a calculus whiz, and you don't need advanced math for large majority of IT jobs. You just need a growth mindset and the willingness to learn new things to help others and other people better harness the power of technology. So if you're not a people person, if you're a people person, you're in luck. A big portion of technology jobs require to work on teams to help colleagues figure out different solutions and technology problems. If you aren't a people person, then you might actually struggle in IT. So I always make sure to tell people this. Communication, creativity, problem solving, attention to detail. These are all skills you probably already have in your job now. So these transfer to a technology job really easily. It gives you an edge if you're switching into careers in IT. So as mentioned, most careers in information technology require you to work on either a team or with colleagues to tackle technology issues. So this is where transferable skills of communication makes a big difference. You have to be a team player. Creativity is essential in jobs like software development, web development roles. So if you're expected to come up with bright ideas to create and enhance new products, in other roles, your creativity will come in handy in very innovative ways to address technology concerns. Problem solving is definitely the most important skill to have in technology. I cannot stress this enough. If you're tenacious about figuring out problems, then you'll 100% excel in this field. It's definitely the field for you. Attention to detail is required if you're trying to fix a line of code or identify a cybersecurity threat. I mean, cybersecurity is one of the hottest technology avenues to go in today. So if you can get this far with your attention to detail, you're going to get very far in IT. So lastly, my advice is to do a lot of research. If you don't have a college background in IT, do a lot of listening. Surround yourself with people who are successful in the industry that you're looking to break into. Ultimately, the world is your oyster because so much information is available online today with Google. Definitely self-educate how I did. Come in as a junior, as an intern, and just work your way up. That's how I did it. I didn't have any background. I got in, I worked my way up, I got these certifications, and I excelled further. And now, 12 years down the line, now I'm finally wanting to pursue even higher roles in my company. So now I want to go get that computer science degree that I never had, just because it benefits my knowledge and I think it would benefit me, but I really don't need it. My boss keeps telling me I really don't need the degree. So self-educate, come in as a junior, intern, work your way up. And my number one recommendation is to surround yourself with successful people that you can learn from, which is why this platform is so amazing. It gives individuals a tool to network, meet people, and just get information out there. So kudos to this platform. I'm just very excited to come on here and share my thoughts around just this whole avenue of getting into technology. I did it. I came from fashion. I had no background, coming from something that is completely the opposite of technology, right? And people are so fascinated by it. Coming from a fashion role that is not mathematical based, unless you're like sewing or making patterns, and coming into something that is just completely a different field, I think anyone can do it. Do I have any questions now for the floor?
Yes, thank you very much, Mrs.
Yeah.
Karolina.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
Thanks for this opportunity. So
Yes.
briefly, to,
Yeah.
I would love to do a recap so that for people that
Yes, please,
just do
please.
a recap. So you spoke to us on how you were able to transform from fashion industry to technology,
Yeah,
and there's one key point that you kept emphasizing on, which is you don't need a degree, and this is very very good because it's highly motivative because it makes us understand that all you need to do is to have a transferable skills for you
right.
to be able to for you to be able to work well with tech people, to for you to be able to work well in tech industry. So transferable skills like team spirit, communication, attention to details, creativity, problem solving, they are
Right.
one of the important keynotes to have for you to be able to succeed in tech industries. And you also said something that we should surround ourselves with successful people. That is people that in our field, in line with the field we want to go into in tech. So that means that it's a necessity for us to have a mentor. So we should do a lot of research, have a mentor, someone that can mentor us to grow. Just like you had a mentor that was able to give
Right.
you encouragement, that was able to motivate you, that was able to direct you. So mentorship is a key point, is a key factor in tech for you to be able to grow your career in tech. And networking is also good as gives you opportunity to learn and conversate with people in different tech field. Then you tend to understand more and build some transferable skills that you already have that is inbuilt that we don't know that we have. Thank you very much, Ms. Karolina. Which is
No problem.
this is great. So, any question before we release Mrs. Karolina for any question? So, I want to ask a question. Do you have any challenges while growing your career in tech? Any challenges?
Oh, yes, definitely. Coming from fashion, I was more of a creative mind. And I read this book that really taught me how to use both parts of my brain. So people usually have more of an analytical part of their brain and a more creative part of their brain. In technology, you really have to have that analytical piece of your mind and be able to work efficiently and really pay attention to the details. So when I first started my career in technology, I realized how much extra work I really had to put in the time. So staying up very late, studying books, reading books in technology, listening to people, calling different mentors, asking them about different pieces of technology. Because when someone says I work in technology, that's like saying I'm a star in the sky and there's billions of stars in the sky, right? Technology has so many different avenues. So unpacking each avenue of technology, you can have cybersecurity, you can go into networking, infrastructure. It's just so many different areas. So knowing that I'm not going to know it all because even Bill Gates doesn't know every single technology, right? Uh,
Yes.
Making sure that I know not to stress myself out completely, that I don't know everything. I'm not the bag of chips. I don't know all. Knowing that and putting in extra time to make sure I'm learning definitely helped me out. But I had a very hard time coming from a creative background into more of an analytical role. So that's what I want individuals to know. Don't stress yourself out that just because you don't know it right out of the gate, it doesn't mean that it's not for you. You just have to try a little harder and really give it a chance, because I didn't love technology when I first joined. I was really missing fashion. I missed living in Italy. I was living in Italy for quite some time, and I was in fashion school over there. And I loved the whole luxury aspect of fashion. And then when I went into technology, I thought of like, people in a room, in a dark room, not really doing anything. And that's just not what it is. I was more open to realizing what technology is to me. And in about 2-3 years, I really learned to love IT because I found my niche that I really liked. And me in particular, I really like digital transformation, digital technologies to help companies be more efficient. But I also love the infrastructure part where you have your servers and your networking, and basically the plumbing of the internet is what networking is. So I found two avenues I really like, but there's so many other things. I mean, AR, a lot of people like video, a lot of people like different things in technology. So finding your niche and what you really like is definitely very important. Any other questions?
Wow, thank you very much. Any other question for Ms. Karolina?
Awesome.
Any other question? No question. Are you serious?
Perfect.
Wow. Well, it's well detailed, and we have been on this session for the past 2 hours, and it has been a great session with other tech professionals also. Professor Happy talked about career paths in tech, and Ms. Grace Akinsala spoke on niche. So we were able to understand, when you're talking to us on niche, we understand already what niche is all about, how to understand our niche, how to get it. So we already have that knowledge, which was.
I have a question, please.
Okay, you have a question.
Yeah. Hello,
Yes.
ma'am. Nice to have you with us, ma'am.
Pleasure's
My
all mine.
question is, have you ever feel, you said?
I said, pleasure is all mine.
Thank you so much. Have you ever feel inferior for not having a college degree?
Sorry, you broke out a
Like,
little
have
bit.
you ever feel inferior? I'm a stammerer. Have you ever feel inferior for not having a college degree? Like feel inferior before, feel know what it takes or something like that?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, a lot, especially in the beginning of my IT career, I definitely felt inferior, especially just even taking a step back and being a woman in this industry. I felt very inferior because I'm always in a room full of men. That's something that I really had to get used to coming in, because when I was in fashion, it was all women. Okay. So going from a career that is all women based, and I knew, and I really was good. I had a fashion company actually. So I really know the fashion industry so well, like I know at the back of my hand. And then when I jumped into IT and not having that education and working with these men that knew so much more than I did, I mean, they are light years ahead of me. They had engineering degrees, and they had their MBAs already and this, and I was just so a fish out of water. But again, going back to my first point, you really have to put in the time. If you want to be an expert in anything that you do, you have to be efficient. You have to use your time wisely, because we all have the same allotted time in a day, right? So working 8 hours a day, and I would, on Sundays, for instance, I'm doing this today with you guys, but I usually study all Sunday. I read a book every night. It's always technology. I think you see the books behind me. They're all technology. So I've read all of them. So just putting in that extra effort for knowledge. And then especially being a girl, as a woman in this industry, I always felt inferior, and I felt that I shouldn't ask questions, and I was always very shy. So knowing that people are there not to hurt you, people are there to help, they want you to succeed, knowing and seeing the benefit of people, seeing the good in individuals, always ask questions. In my early days, I didn't ask questions. So people would be, rattling off buzzwords. So they would say, oh, infrastructure and IoT and da, 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 da. And at that point, let's say I didn't know what IoT is. It's information, Internet of Things. And back then I didn't know what that was. And I felt almost stupid to not ask. I felt stupid to not ask. It's so always ask questions, do the work, use your time wisely, always educate yourself and put in the extra time. If you want to be in this field, it is a lot of work. And honestly, anywhere you go is a lot of work. Any career, you're not going to get there. No one's going to give you a silver spoon, and you're not going to go to the top immediately. You have to prove yourself. So I had to prove myself by making sure I educate myself and making sure that if I didn't know something, ask someone, because it's okay. It's okay to ask questions. And honestly, when you do ask questions, it shows the other person that you're actually interested in this and you want to be successful in this field. And of course, having those mentors. That is my most important takeaway for today's lesson from my speech, is always have mentors. I have about 15 mentors in technology and all are various. And it's great because when I don't understand something, I pick up my phone and I call and I say, hey, Pete, Mitch, what do I do in this situation? Or what if a client is asking for this? And I always go to my boss, always go to my boss for different questions that I don't know and just help along any of these avenues. Thank you very much for your question.
Thank you so much, Ma. I really appreciate the answer. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Thank you, Ma, Ms. Karolina. And I'm seeing someone sending a chat already. Someone is so happy to be in this platform and listen to you, ma'am. My question are, how do you suggest one pull oneself out of the inferiority stage? And how do you suggest one cope of peradventure one don't have a transferable skill? Oh my God. So the person is saying that, what if you don't have a transferable skill? So how do you cope? And how do you get yourself out of the inferiority stage?
Yes, I think everyone has transferable skills. I mean, just on this platform right now, we all communicate so well. And just making sure that you communicate, let's say you're on an interview or you met someone that's in technology and you're looking for a mentor, as long as you communicate your soul and you really, really are efficient in the way that you communicate, and even taking a step back completely, actually, if you really don't think you have a transferable skills, we have Google, we have online, we have the internet, and you can really learn anything that you possibly can. And a lot of what we do today is self-learning, and you have to be diligent and motivated to keep going and to learn the information. Because if let's say, so actually funny TED Talk. So I used to not be a good speaker. So what I did is I got this book, Talk Like TED, and it's the person who invented TED Talks, and that's like one of the most amazing shows for motivational speaking, and people go on there and really, really present so well. So I was not a good speaker, I was not a good presenter, I was not a good interviewer at all. I had terrible communication skills. So by educating myself, I was able to have those transferable skills that took me further in my career. Does that answer your question?
Yes, very well. I believe the person must have been. Yes, this is great, ma. You
Awesome.
answered the question, and I believe that the person is okay with it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. And feeling inferior, to unpack the second part of your question, I mean, again, it goes back to self-learning. I was very, very inferior, and I still am. And that's something that I've also come to bear with, because I always feel inferior, because there's always someone that's going to learn, that's going to know more and be smarter than you in the room. And once you get over that and you don't see that as competition, you see that as, wow, you know what, this person is so smart. They're so intelligent. I'm sure that I can ask them questions. When you see that as your friend and no longer something that you're playing against, when you get into that mindset, it really helps you along your career. Because by far, I'm not the smartest person in the room ever, as much as compliments and etc. There's always going to be someone that's better than you. And when you don't see that as competition and you welcome it as your friend, you're going to go very far in your career. Is there audio? Am I audible?
Thank you very much, ma, for this conversation, for coming, for accepting our invite. Any other question before we leave Mrs. Karolina? Sure. Any other question? Well, it has been a very wonderful and great session with you, ma.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Really, this is an amazing platform. I love what you're doing. Just getting awareness, getting knowledge out there for young people or even older people trying to switch their careers. It's really it's amazing what you're doing. I fully support your platform. Please let me know how else I can help you make this available to more individuals here in the United States, in New York. Let me know, because this is really an amazing thing that you're doing. Not a lot of people go out there to help people get educated. A lot of people, like we just talked about, are inferior of others, and they don't want to help because they themselves want to be the best. But if we start getting a community together to help each other, it just will make the whole world much better. So kudos to you. I'm so proud of you on what you're doing, and let me know any way I can help.
Wow, thank you very much, Ma. I appreciate. God
No
bless
problem.
you, Mama.
No
I will
problem.
definitely get
Women
back to you.
empowerment. You're amazing. Woman empowerment. I'm so proud of you. So coming from
Thank
New York City to you, I hope to meet you one day in person. I think you're an amazing individual. So thank you so much for
Wow.
this opportunity. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Ma. Okay, Ma, we can so let's say goodbye to Miss Karolina for this support for
Thank
your
you, everyone.
coming. Bye, Ma.
So
Thank you,
much.
Ma. Yes,
Thank you.
Ma. So today we end Career Path in Tech Series 6. Career Path in Tech